One of the most difficult parts of assessment is creating a rubric that's really going to evaluate your students reliably and fairly. So I'm going to take a minute to show you how I go about creating rubrics for assignments. And the first thing you have to start with, is a really good detailed assignment description. If you don't have a good assignment description so that your students know what to do in the first place, then a rubric's not going to do you any good. So start with a really good assignment description. And I've got assignment description here that I'm going to use now to create a rubric. So this is kind of how I go about doing it. First of all, I read through the assignment description in detail. And this is for a project I used to do in our educational psychology class, and it was this kind of open-ended thing, which could be very unreliable because all the students would interpret it differently. But I know then that I need to set up a rubric that's going to be nice and clear and grade everybody fairly consistently. So as I go through this assignment description, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on my highlighting tool here. I'm going to start highlighting the things that I am going to be evaluating or putting a score to. Alright, so the first thing is they're going to take a test to determine which intelligence they are, then they're going to make a project using that. I want them to be creative. Now we get down into some of the requirements for the assignment. So first of all, your project must demonstrate, I'm going to highlight this, in-depth and accurate understanding. Okay. And then it says of at least 4 concepts from your chosen theory. Now I'm highlighting those separately because the most important thing to me is that the content is accurate in their presentation or their project or whatever they're doing. Secondary to that is that they have sufficient coverage, that they're including enough details. And people get in a lot of trouble when they create rubrics and try to combine things like accuracy and a number of concepts within the same line. You get those really messy rubrics that have like and or, so the content is accurate and or there are only 3. That really doesn't work. So I'm going to go ahead and say that these are 2 separate criteria. First, that it's in-depth and accurate. Secondly, that there are at least 4 concepts. All right, now I'm going to keep going. Your project should also clearly reflect the use of 1 or 2 of Gardner's multiple intelligences. So that's another criterion. Your work should be original and creative. No lectures or basic PowerPoint presentations, please. And demonstrate significant effort. So that's 2 more, right? Original and creative, and demonstrate significant effort. The final product should be professional, representing your best work. Now to me, this is actually another criterion, okay? Because a student could create a very professional looking crossword puzzle that only took them 20 minutes to make. So I want it to be a significant effort and look professional. And then I've got write a 1-page summary of which theories you chose to cover and why, which intelligences you selected, etc. So this is kind of an ancillary thing to me, just an explanation. So that's a last criteria. So I could go through now and number these, and we'd end up with, that one's the most important to me, number 1. Okay, second, I'm going to have coverage. And you may find as you go through your assignment description that the things that are most important to you aren't necessarily in order. In this case, they happen to be. That's just how I crafted it. So I go through and kind of number, organize all of the elements of my rubric. So I've got 7 lines of my rubric. Now some people will tell you that a short rubric is better than a long one. I do not agree with that. I believe that the rubric should have enough lines that you can be reliable in your grading so it's nice and clear. Alright, so I have 7 criteria here. I've ordered them in order of importance for me. I may even say, you know what, this one's worth, times 2 or something, because that one is really important to me. And then I would just come down below and I can either go to a site like Rubistar or UEN, or I can come down below and start a table in Word, set it up with my levels. Here across the top I've got 3 is excellent, 2 is satisfactory, 1 needs work. My criteria named along the left, and then I start to fill in these boxes. And those online tools like Rubistar can help you with that, but then you'll need to customize them.